Hello, welcome to Alive to Thrive OT. I'm Lauren Lyman, and today I'm here with Petra Sliwiak, and she is going to be telling us a little bit about what she does, what services she offers, and how she helps people heal themselves. So first, let's just get started telling a little bit about yourself.
Okay, thanks, Lauren. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Basically, I became into this position because I healed myself. I had 4 vertebrae in my neck that were almost fused. I had scoliosis. I had chronic sciatic pain, depression, insomnia. I mean, I was a mess. I was 40 going on about 100 and a bad 100. I've seen some 100-year-olds that were in better shape than I was back then. But those were all issues that had accumulated over my lifetime and different things that happened to me. So finally, when I was 40, I was a single mom and I was taking care of my son and working, and I had so much pain in my body. I had to do something. So I had been doing yoga for about 15 years, and it helped me for a while, but then it kind of plateaued and it wasn't doing anything else for me. And I'd been going to chiropractors and acupunctures and getting all different kinds of massages. And I think the spiritual component was still missing because I tried to go to different religions and none of them really connected with me and resonated with me until I found just spirituality, which is the ability to believe in a higher power. Doesn't really have to have a name or even kind of a concept. So, I guess I got through it through more like law of attraction and universal energy. What we put out is what we focus on, what we receive back. So I kind of went through that way, and then I realized that it's all the same thing. That energy and that focus and that law of attraction is really the same thing as spirituality. And, Bruce Lipton has done a lot of work with this concept and proven that it's the same thing. And so after healing all of that, I literally got rid of the scoliosis, the chronic sciatic pain, all of that. It took 2.5 years of conscious doing, and that's something that I think I differ from a lot of people. I will teach you how to do it. I cannot do it for you. And so that's really the clientele I'm looking for, is people who are believing in the self-healing system and that they can heal themselves. I mean, I had scoliosis, so for me to get rid of the scoliosis, I had to lay on the floor 3 times a day for 20 minutes each time for 2.5 years. That was for me. That's not I'm saying what you have to do, but for me to straighten the back, I had to lay on the floor for an hour a day. And somebody told me that, a chiropractor told me that, and I couldn't lay on the floor for an hour a day because it hurt so much after like 20 minutes. So I tried several times and it always was at 20 minutes. And so I decided, well, I'll just lay on the floor 3 times a day for 20 minutes, and that'll still be an hour. And I did it for 2.5 years, and I straightened my back, right? So I know I've been doing this for 15 years now. I have so many ways, so much wisdom about how to do these things, but it's really only up to the person to be willing to do it.
Yeah. So what type of clients do you see? Is it people who are strictly dealing with physical ailments? Is it emotional?
Well, all of it is, it's all about self-regulation. We all have the ability to regulate ourselves. What are we focusing on? When somebody has a panic attack, you focus on the panic of what's wrong, and you go down this rabbit hole, and it gets worse and worse. It's like that hurricane. It starts out small, and it keeps digging up stuff, and it brings it with it. And by the time you're at the bottom of the rabbit hole, your hurricane is so big that you're spinning out of control. Where if you can become aware of the moment that you start to go down the rabbit hole, and you can stop yourself, and that's the brilliant part. It's like you have the ability to regulate yourself instead of going down that rabbit hole of anxiety or depression or whatever it is, drugs, alcohol. I mean, there's so many things that we as humans have problems with. Self-awareness will help you end that spiraling.
Yeah. So what kind of modalities do you use in your practice?
Well, I call it the Healing Triad. It's movement, breathwork, and mantra. The movement is for the physical being, the breathwork is for the soul, and the mantras are for the mind. So you got mind, body, soul, right? The mind is the mantra part, the body is the movement part, and the breathwork is the soul connection, which I would love to just share. One of my biggest aha moments was when I found out that the word Atma in Sanskrit means life force energy, right? And I didn't necessarily believe in God at the time, but I definitely believed in life force energy. And when I realized that the Germans used the word for life force energy for breath, because in German the word for breath is Atmen, so I was like, oh, those very smart Germans just naturally use the word for life force energy for breath. And if somebody would have told me that when I was born, I would have eliminated a whole spiritual search of my life, but I wouldn't have learned as much, obviously, so everything is perfect the way it is. But breath is your connection to your life here on earth as a human being, and most people take their breath for granted. So when you start to create a conscious connection with your breath, when you can start to regulate your breath, that's what the breath work does. It teaches you how to regulate your breath. It can save your life in so many ways. It can save your life if you're, swimming. It can save your life if you're not being able to breathe. It can save your life by regulating your heart pressure. There's so many ways being able to regulate your breath can save your life.
So what's an example of one type of breath work that you would do with somebody?
It's a circular breathing technique, basically called the breath of life. Some people call it Ujjayi breath. Some people call it ocean breath, wave breath. But it's basically being able to breathe into your belly instead of up into the lungs. Most people are breathing up here, shallow breathing. And all of our energy that we need is down in the lower energy centers. That's personal power, willpower, motivation, ambition, courage, creativity, pleasure, joy, groundedness, centeredness, acceptance. It's all down here. And those are the things that keep us from being depressed and keep us from being anxious and keep us in high blood pressure or needing pills for headaches or aches or chronic pain. So when you start taking deep breaths, you really learn how to connect with yourself and regulate your emotional states.
So do you want to talk about any specific success stories you have, or
Well, I've been seeing a lot of, I used to call them clients, but it's not really clients anymore. It's more like students. If you think of yourself more as a student coming to me than a client, you'll have a much better chance of success, because I'm not somebody who can fix you. I'm somebody who can teach you how to fix yourself. So you need to be willing to do the work, to put the time in. Like I said, it took me 3 years, and I was on the floor 3 times a day for almost 3 years, 2.5 years, for 20 minutes laying on the floor, but for another 20 minutes before that doing movement, breathwork, and mantra. So I did movement, breathwork, and mantra. I set up an altar, which was not any kind of religious altar. It had crystals on it. It had incense on it. It had flowers on it and water and just things I was grateful for and pictures. So it was my own kind of interpretation of an altar, but it gave me focus as to what I was doing, and connected me with higher source power and inspiration. And then I would go through the movements, the breath work, the mantra, to create that deeper connection with myself. And then I would lay on the floor and really meditate and bring the alignment of the floor into my body. That was one of my mantras, was bringing the alignment of the floor into my body. And that's what helped me straighten the vertebrae in my back. So, it's meditation. Sound healing is something that I tuned into while I was going through the healing process, which I use now, a lot of sound healing with my students. And I use a gong, which is a super powerful thing. And, I should have brought the gong. Maybe we can do a episode 2 with the gong and really show people how powerful vibration is. But vibration, sound creates vibration, and vibration moves matter, and we are matter. So if you're laying in front of a gong and I'm gonging you, the vibration of the gong flows through the body like, the ocean waves, and it starts to move the matter, but only if you are laying on the table open to receiving. If you're laying there thinking about your bills or your kids or your work or whatever, you're pretty much blocking, because that's up here, your thoughts, and they're blocking all the vibrations from getting into where they need to go. So learning how to meditate is, one of the keys to the self-healing process, because you need to tune into the cells and the bones and the molecules in your body. 70% of the body is water, and water is one of the most intelligent things we have found. There's a book called The Message from Water from Dr. Emoto in Japan, who's dead now, but he did so many tests on water and with people and healing with water. It's called The Message from Water if anyone's interested in checking it out. That you can tell water what to do, and if you're in your mind talking about your negative stuff and self-defeating and fear and anger and all that, the water in your body, 70% of it is responding to what you're telling it, even on a subconscious level, not even speaking loudly, but just your thoughts. So when you learn to connect with your subconscious and reset your habit loops, your negative habit loops of smoking, drinking, eating, negative thoughts, whatever it is, the same kind of relationships you're attracting in your life, the same kind of work you're attracting that's making you unhappy, all those things you are in control of. It's just you needing to know how to go about attracting what it is that you want as an individual. And that's something that not too many people can tell you because they haven't done it themselves.
And for more information on everything that Petra's talking about, we do have a podcast on humans as electrical beings. So you can put that in the search bar. We talk about the water crystals and the memory that water holds. We talk about the law of attraction and energy, vibrations, frequencies, all of that. So if you're wanting a little more background, definitely check that out because those are all areas that Petra works with.
Absolutely. I have a Facebook page called A Deeper Connection, and I named it A Deeper Connection because that's what I teach people. I teach people to have a deeper connection with themselves, mind, body, soul. And when you really connect with who you are, not who you've been programmed to be, not even programmed, I would say like somebody's on a computer program you, but your parents teaching you what their beliefs, church, school, the media, they program us to be certain ways. And when you really start to realize that you're not that person, who are you? And it can be scary because you don't know that person. And maybe you've had twinges of feelings of that you wanted to be a certain person and you ended up being, something else and you're not happy. And that's what makes people sick when they're not living their truth. So if you want to really be able to step into your truth, these techniques will help you to do that, to heal you. So check out A Deeper Connection on Facebook, and you can message me through there. It's a community page. It's a public page. Check it out. There's tons of notes that I've written in the past. There's positive, inspirational posts every day that you can share so that you can start to plant some seeds and get rid of all that negative stuff on the internet, right? Share some stuff. Lauren's shared some stuff before on her Facebook page, I know. So, just message me if you have any questions about any of it or want to talk about something. Healing, have a conversation.
Great. So I did have one more thing for you. Petra works with couples as well. So I really wanted to dive into that because focusing on yourself and then it can end up changing relationships. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how you work with the individual and then incorporate that into the relationship.
The techniques will only work if both people are involved in the practice. If one person is practicing, again, it's mind, body, soul. So basically, these techniques came from a 6,000-year-old practice called the Tantric practice. And Tantra was actually a technique that creates a conscious connection with source. Tantras are scriptures conversations between Shakti and Shiva, which is the basic representation of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, not man and woman, the energy of divine feminine and divine masculine, which we're seeing much more nowadays because nowadays young people are more mixed. Some people look like males, but they're females. Some people look like females, but they're males. Some people are female, but they want to have an operation to be a male. Some people are both. And so it really doesn't matter what your body looks like anymore. It's about the energy of what you're feeling inside. And so when you start to really understand these conversations between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, it helps us with communication. And that's what all this is based on. The movement, the breath work, the mantra. And these techniques, when you use them as a couple, it's like you've created your own divine triad, and then you can bring your children in with it, and it just brings the family. It's almost like they say the family that prays together stays together, but it's not necessarily called prayer, and we don't have to put a name of a religion on it. It's just that positive energy and intention and communication with your family, and it's a miracle. I've helped dozens of families and hundreds of people, probably even thousands of people by now, because I also do virtual stuff in big classes. So it's been a miracle. I have even reviews on my Deeper Connection community page, so if anybody needs any, and I do free consultations. So if you just want to sit and chat and have a cup of tea, I'm open to doing that. Yeah, either virtually or in person.
Well, great. Thank you so much.
You're
very
welcome.
informative. Petra does a lot of great work, so make sure you go check out her Facebook page, like her Facebook page, and definitely share some of her stuff, because it's good to put that positive frequency out in the universe, because again, law of attraction, what you put out, you will get back. So please like the video. If you could subscribe to the channel and sign up for alerts so you know when we post new videos. Please share this video, share it with other people, because you never know who could benefit from these services. And honestly, I think we all could. So please share the video, and thank you for joining us. We are wishing you physical, emotional, spiritual, and psychological health and well-being.
Absolutely. Love you all. Thank you for joining us today.
Take care.
Bye.